Right, so from the smaller lens to the bigger lens, in fact, the biggest lens of all, it's time to take a look at the Femmes of the lens with JP Sebastian in honour of International Women's Day. We're going to cast a light towards ourselves in the industry at the DOPs that are making waves within the film industry, whose names we don't know.
DOP stands for Director of Photography.
There
That's
we
right.
go. The person who takes the shots.
Sure, and so, you can, average person who maybe watches 10 films a month can name maybe one male cinematographer. If you're a film fundi, you can name 10. Even film fundis can't name sometimes one female cinematographer, and they are out there, and just not enough risks are taken on other human beings.
On this asset.
So I want to showcase 5 of them for you who have touched me and who have done some exciting stuff that intrigued me in the past. And the first one is Maryse Alberti. She is French and she's done this for 30 years. There she is with Ryan Coogler. Ryan Coogler, Creed, Black Panther, Fruitvale Station, and Creed knocked my socks off for its cinematography. I ridiculously could have said that it could have gone toe-to-toe with Raging Bull, Robert De Niro, Martin Scorsese back in the day. Creed was instantly a classic, and for me it was that scene, I don't know if you guys remember from that movie, where it's a one take of 2 rounds, so that's 6 minutes that the camera doesn't cut, and weaves around the boxing ring like a serpentine almost.
Yeah.
What you're looking at is basically a third fighter who's choreographing with the other 2 fighters.
For sure.
She had this challenge, however, of having to focus on the emotions of that scene as well. You can't just show the punches and whatever.
Yeah.
So she's like keeping the face in its most interesting parts, in its most interesting beats in frame. And there, Mickey Rourke, she also did The Wrestler with Darren Aronofsky. And good grief, she did camera operation on Paris is Burning, the old documentary from back in the day about original ladies and gents and in-betweens voguing. And she's an interesting person in that she's got her history in documentary, so that's where she gets that very real life, what they refer to cinema verite feel. Creed feels a lot more lived even than Rocky.
For sure. I love that. Great. Yeah, she's got it down. Let's move on.
Autumn Durald Okafor is the next one who I'd recommend. And I want to talk about people who did recent stuff. So like Creed is recent. So like Wakanda Forever is recent. Again, Ryan Coogler. And sorry, this is how recent it is. I could only get this lady in a mask, Autumn Durald Okafor. Ryan Coogler, good for him. People say, oh, I'm an ally, I support women. It's like, do you employ them?
Yeah,
and
step up.
So this is the 3rd cinematographer that he has employed who is female. The previous one was Rachel Morrison. Wakanda Forever struck me as possibly game-changing for superhero movies just in its visuals. It really felt like they were upping the bar. And the lady is talented. She's from an indie scene, and why that helps is because she had to sort of tightrope this weird walk between doing a superhero movie, but at the same time something that was very intimate because of Chadwick Boseman.
Because of how much it meant, not just to the cast, but to the fans.
So she does these amazingly cinematic things, but at the same time it was something that was quite tender and quite intimate a lot of the time, and she has a bright future ahead of her, a lot younger than some of the others on this list, and hopefully...
You just think of what debt of gratitude directors owe their DOP.
DOPs are sometimes second
like
director. DOPs, sometimes the director is going to the cinematographers again. Is this all right?
Can we? For sure.
And so
Who's
another one
next?
who people might look to for that is Charlotte Bruce Christensen, who is from Denmark, but has her name on... I mean, look who she's standing next to there.
Wow.
Denzel Washington for Fences. A Quiet Place is the one that stands out for me.
Oh, yes.
Now, think about a movie where people aren't allowed to talk. So who is the voice? The voice is Charlotte. And so she is basically narrated through the whole thing. And she says, interestingly there, that this is less about Quiet Place, about framing, less about geometry, and more about knowing when to have the right motion for the editor to make the scary cut. The jump scare will happen.
The inertia, the movement that you've got to feel when you're looking.
She was a lot more obsessed then with that inertia and that movement than just, okay, this is how to make a scene pretty or iconic, but at the same time doing something that felt like a family drama as well.
Yeah.
And so, like I said already, with Denzel Washington, these are big names. And then Far From the Madding Crowd was Thomas Vinterberg, who also did The Hunt, which I highly recommend. But this lady's also had a name over a bunch of other stuff. And let's make these household names, guys. I mean, even though it's a long name to say, Charlotte Bruce Christensen.
It's worth remembering. It is worth remembering.
You promised us 4, right?
I'll give you a 5th if I even can.
We've gone through 3. We've got one more lady.
Okay, and this lady, oh man, I've even forgotten my own list.
Claire Maton, or Maton,
that's right. No, actually, you said it the first time. Claire Maton, guys, I don't even need to tell you too much on this, but Portrait of a Lady on Fire, this incredible. Good grief. Shot in 8K, actually. What we're looking at here is Spencer. Spencer was obviously Kristen Stewart playing Diana Spencer. And so she was working there with Pablo Larraín, who has a style that's very much like, how do I get the look that is from the age? I want this thing to look like VHS. I want this thing to look like, old school or something like that. And so she does these wides that are really close and thus gives you this interesting sculpture and these sharp sort of shadows at times when they're just needed. But she has this amazing eye for making things like, please, I'm begging you guys, watch Portrait of a Lady on Fire. Every shot you can hang up on your wall. Look at this.
These are pictures. I was about to say exactly that. These look like still frame pictures.
And
that are
when you're
moving.
doing a movie that's partly about sneak-in shots of women so that you can secretly paint them, which is the premise of this movie, this is what everything is here, a celebration of women that Portrait of a Lady on Fire is, and of liberating women that this movie does. Guys, even in the construction of light inside the eyeballs, you know, catch light, when you see that glinting in the eye,
the
even
bane
that
of our
has structure and
existence, yeah.
architecture. But look, there's still so much more to talk about. Women in 2024 is what my next is going to be on. That was the ladies who are behind the lens, cinematographers. Really important. Know some of these names. And yeah, I'll get
We
back
will
to them.
definitely
Wow.
take note of some of these names. JP, thank you for bringing this to the forefront.
Peace, peace.